What we do here is go back.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bare Knuckle's Most Wanted. I'm Matthew Kohler. Of course, as always, I'm here with Matt Seibel, and we are joined today by Mr. Jim Freeman. How are you today, sir?
I'm very good. You okay?
Doing well, man. Yeah, this is not my normal venue. I'm broadcasting live from Miami today, and it is like 95 degrees out here right now. And I'm gonna have to change my shirt up after this. I'm about to die. But but yeah. So here we are. We're happy to have you on the show, and definitely looking forward to talking about BKB. And this is the first time we've ever had you on, and so it's an honor to have you here. And so what's going on with BKB? What's tell us about all the big things that are going on, and what's coming up, and what's in the future, and where are you guys going?
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having us on. Obviously, we was the founders of professional bare knuckle sport in the world. First ones, we sort of did it. So, obviously with the whole world how it is, COVID's really sort of affected things differently. I think in the States, you're kind of lucky that some states have took a sort of sensible view on things, and there are allowing shows to happen. With us, it's been really difficult. We had 2 shows in lockdown, and it was incredibly difficult. And even now, you can't really get people to fly in from abroad. It's the real sort of minefield and nightmare. So basically, as a company, we've been sort of put on hold for about 18 months. But obviously, we're keen to get going now. We had a show about 4 weeks ago, which was fantastic. Great viewing numbers. It was our biggest viewed numbers. And then we've got another one on Saturday, which is again probably the biggest bare knuckle fight ever, in my opinion, which is the rematch between Ricardo Franco and Jimmy Sweeney. If you don't know them guys, then go look them up. Ricardo Franco knocked out Conor Tierney in 40 seconds. Jimmy Sweeney's an absolute, when you talk about legend of the game, we're talking about a guy that's had nearly 30 professional bare knuckle fights. That's legit ones. That's not like some Bobby Gunn nonsense or, the nonsense we get here, Jimmy McCory, like, myths and fights down this. This is documented, legit, proper fights. So them 2 rematching is just going to be an incredible thing. So yeah, hopefully a few sort of American guys sort of get into it. I know you've seen a few sort of guys from here over there, but probably definitely not the best ones that we've got. So legit guys, but certainly not the best ones from over here. There's some really, really good fighters from over in the UK.
Oh, absolutely. And we know, I mean, bare knuckle fighters from the UK definitely have that reputation of being, the reputation is that those guys that, they're just a bunch of really tough guys, and that this is what they grew up doing. So, while it might be relatively young here, this is nothing new to you guys over there across the pond. So, definitely, I want to learn about all the fighters in the BKB. I'm excited to see what you guys are going to do next. Do you have a show coming up here pretty quickly?
Yeah, there's a show on Saturday. So like I said, the rematch.
Yeah, I thought so.
But yeah, there's a show on Saturday. Obviously, it goes out very early for you guys. It's a great little watch. If you're not sure of anything, have a little look on our YouTube channel. There's plenty of little fights on there. It's quite a simple sort of thing that we do. It's a small ring. It's a 16-foot ring. So there's nowhere to hide. Similar to the sort of BYB, it's kind of that rather than the sort of big circle that perhaps most guys would be relating to over there. It's standard ungloved boxing. We don't allow the clinch and the punch. And it just makes for raw entertainment. When you get the big heavies in there, they stand in the middle of the ring, 2 steps back, 2 steps side, 2 steps forward. And at the ropes, it's literally kind of like that. So there's nowhere to go. It's just sort of fight, get on the fight. So, yeah. And, I think we've had 28 Americans here, so it's not just
yeah.
we've been represented by nearly 100 countries. So when we're talking about worldwide, it is worldwide. I think over there, you're probably best maybe a dozen countries have been represented in sort of bare knuckle combat. It's probably guys, which if you look at it, the combat sports, MMA, boxing, America is way above everyone in terms of what they've achieved and the percentage of fighters. So obviously there's still a fantastic pull for you guys, but for us, we've had countries all over the place, not just Europe, Asia, like I say, America, Canada. We've had all sort of countries represented at some stage.
Where do we catch the fights at? You said YouTube, but is it on pay-per-view or how do we?
So we're on Fight, so we're slightly different. So over in America, you can actually watch it on BN Sports for free. So BN Sports Connect or BN Sports Extra. So in America, it's actually free to watch. So you haven't even got to watch. If you like your bare knuckle combat, it'd be something slightly different. It'd be on, probably early in the morning over there. But if you're into it, and it's kind of cool, then have a little look at some of the guys that are doing it over here. Yeah.
So are there any plans to hold any events outside of the UK at any point in the future?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we've got to expand, but it's got to be done carefully. You've seen with the guys there. It's BKFC went to Mexico. It was a bit of a disaster, wasn't it? No one's there and stuff. So it's got to have a market for it. I think with COVID, it just makes it so difficult to sort of do that. Our probably first foray into international shows will be into sort of Belgium or Holland. We're really keen to come to America. Like I say, we've got an offer that we've got an exclusive deal for the O2 in London, which is one of the biggest venues in the world. They own the Barclays Centre. So there's loads of great venues that I could get on one phone call. So it's not getting the venue. It's just making sure that we get it and we have a great show. So to transfer it all the way over there and just have Americans wouldn't be kind of cool. So probably a first step might be working with someone like BYB, something like that. Maybe do like a co-ab, like a home and away. We go fight there with a few guys. They bring a few guys to fights here, and guys that gets to see some. Yeah, some. That's
an interesting idea. But then do you hold the fights in the Trigon, or do you use a traditional boxing your boxing, your square ring, or how does that work in that scenario?
I don't know really. I've not spoke to any of the guys there. It's just me sort of speaking out loud. I suppose you could do it like you get like 4 or 5 guys and you just do a home and a leg way. So we come over there, bring 5 fighters, fight against 5 of their fighters.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and then they do a like-minded thing. It's just
sounds fun.
Yeah,
it does sound fun.
Yeah. I know, like our guys would do it, and obviously, like you guys over there, because I know my dad's American, lives in Houston, so I come, like in America, you have like a, back home in Ireland or Italy or the UK, so you kind of look at slightly different. Over here, it's like everyone's like, oh wow, the bright lights of Las Vegas and kind of thing. So it's kind of that where everyone across the pond of like, oh wow, that's really cool. What's going on?
It's always cooler over there.
Yeah. Wherever you're from, grass is always greener, right?
Exactly. Until you get there, and then it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
But no. Listen, we're quite open to it. It's just great for us to have proper shows on with crowds there. Our last one we sold out. This one another sellout, and we just keep building from there and get back into sort of having regular shows, getting the lads busy.
Cool. So what did you think of? I don't know if you watched any of it. Did you watch any of Toe the Line that came over there, and what were your thoughts and opinions on that?
Well, I know it's obviously sort of bare fist boxing. It's proof that there's probably about 6 or 7 different shows. At best, being polite, I don't like to put. They're very average. If you guys watched it, I think that most of the fights finished in the first round. It's not known to anything great. It's
not pretty.
The question of the BKFC trying to look like they're expanding, so just like grabbing hold of anything. The guys that have got it. I think there was probably 6 or 7 guys that we've cut over time. So it's nowhere near the kind of elite level. And that's not being disrespectful, respect to all the lads that are fighting, but still in combat sports, if we've got to be real, they're nowhere near the top over here. But, good luck to them. If it gives a couple of guys opportunities to fight over there, it's great for them. But yeah, in terms of show and, what they're doing with sort of Toe the Line, it's kind of miles away from where we are. And that's just being real about it in truth.
Absolutely. So, what can you tell me about your women's division or in BYB or plans to do that?
So we've we're a little bit more sort of stiff upper lip than over there. So we've actually never had a women's fight, never.
Right.
And so, yeah, we've recruited a couple of women to have a couple of fights. But if I'm honest with you, when we launched the women's fight, what I don't want to do is go down that kind of route of, you know, again, Paige Van Zandt, you know, that kind of thing where if you're all kind of putting her on because you really want to fuck her. It's not really about her fight ability. Her fight ability is not
I listen. I did a whole show on this last week about, you know, as a real fight fan, I don't care what they look like. I just want to see two skilled fighters and the two best go in, and I want to see a good fight. The pretty pictures are nice for the promos, but beyond that, it doesn't. I'd rather just see a good fight, and nothing against Paige or any of these women. I'm not knocking their hustle. If they want to go online and do whatever they want to do, and they can make money outside of the sport, great, good for you. Go do that if that makes you happy. But I don't like seeing the sexualization of women playing a part in the matchmaking process. That, as a fan, I don't like.
Or even the real talent being pushed down.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that's the part that I really don't like, is when the real talent is pushed down in favor of somebody that looks good in a bikini, or whatever. So
that's where we are. I don't want gimmicky fights. So I don't want to have our first fight to be like, like probably the best way of putting it to you guys, two soccer mums. It looks horrible. It's not good. It's got to be skilled fights. Like I'm very good friends with Chantel Cameron. She's a legit WBC boxing champion. When she finishes, she's going to come and do bare knuckle. But I've got someone of the same skill level. So we're all about having well-matched fights. Everyone fights everyone. And everyone's got a level. We don't always have all the best fighters, but if they're not always the best fighters, then match with someone who's perhaps not the best fighters. We're not interested in gimmicks. I'm not interested in TikTokers, YouTubers, NFL stars, or any of that bullshit. That's not going to happen here. We don't fly like that. I've been off loads of sort of celebrity fights. I don't really care about it. It's a load of bollocks. I'd rather just people look at good fights and go, that was a good fight. I want to see that fight again. That's it.
Yes.
Our growth in terms of our numbers have gone upwards at a steady scale. You might get these people in and you think, oh, it's great, the pay-per-view number spike, but they just go back down again because people aren't interested. It's proven with the sort of Jake Paul boxing thing. People who watch the Jake Paul fight, they don't give a fuck about anyone else and any other fights afterwards. They just go back to doing what they're doing and watching other stuff with Jake Paul on it. They're not interested in boxing. You don't convert any fans. It's an absolute nonsense. There's no more eyes on the prize, and it's very disrespectful for the guys that are hustling and grinding away every day, building a career, getting records, fighting everyone, to just someone to come in and push him down. So I'm not interested.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, if you're that guy, I'm interested in you.
Yeah, I could not agree more. And I love to hear you say that. I love to hear a promoter say that. I couldn't agree more. Because again, these people put their lives into this, and they spend a tremendous amount of money trying to get, to a high, put themselves in a position to fight at a high level. It's a tremendous amount of work, sacrifice, all of those things, money. And it is really kind of insulting to the real fighters when they see, somebody that maybe has never had a fight in their life come in and make 10 times what they ever would, doing the same thing. It's not my favorite, but I'm a huge advocate for real fighters though. So speaking of real fight, go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, me and Joe have never been. We're fight fans. We're not in. We weren't fight promoters. We didn't come from celebrity boxing, MMA, or anything. We just come in and looked at it and was like, when we had an opportunity to go, this is how we want to do it, and how and we've upset some fighters because if I'm real with you as well, there's a lot of fighters who want to fight guys that are 10 levels below. So we fell out with quite a few fighters because it's kind of like, listen, you got to fight this guy, and it's a legit fight. I want to be able to have a fight that I can go, and most of our fights I can go, I can make a case for either of them, and not a case in terms of it's bare knuckle one punch. I mean, I can make a legitimate case to go, this guy could win on this guy could win on that, and a skill fight. And if we have a 12-fight card, I want at least 9 fights. I myself as a promoter don't know who's going to win. If right. I don't want to. I'll go to some of the boxing shows. I've been to Wembley, Anti-Joshua, and on the undercard, every single fight there's going to be one, and you're just there for the main event. Now, we did that. So that's our mantra. It's always fair fights, like I said, and we try and match in. Like I said, it's pissed a lot of the fighters off because there's a lot of fighters who think like, oh, I can bring a lot to this. I can put a lot of bums on seats. I can this, but they want to fight someone they know they're going to beat. And it's just cheating the sport all the way along. And you've got promoters who cheat, got fighters who cheat. You got, it's just not building anything for the sport in the long term. So that's where we've done it. And like I say, some people get kind of pissy about it, but it is what it is. If you don't want fair fights, stay somewhere else. No problem. You don't have to reach out to us.
No padding of the numbers in your promotion.
Yeah, we've had some fights where we've had to, this show's been challenging every now and again. We've probably put on about 60, 70 shows now. About every 10, 15 shows, you get a fight card that's really challenging. This has been one of them. We've had a couple of injuries. We've had from our original 24 fighters, we've had 13 out. We've had to replace them. So sometimes when that happens, you get a last minute replacement. It's not always the kind of quality you want and the original fight you want. So this card's been really challenging. The last card was fantastic. This one could be, but you just never know. You just never know. But this is going to be 4 or 5 are going to be really, really good fights. Yeah, really, really good fights.
Cool. So there was one question. Go ahead, Matt. All right. Well, there was one question in the chat that said, you always do that. But there was a question in the chat that says, in your opinion, who has the best fighters overall, BKFC, BKB, or BYB?
I'll be honest with you. I haven't watched. I think obviously there's no doubt BKFC have got the bigger names. Whether that transitions into bare knuckle combat, our guys have got the records, haven't they? I think that what the BKFC have done is try to make a name based on us, bring over a couple of guys, get them beat, not match them correctly, and just kind of do that to great. And it's just a bit kind of crappy in truth. But I think they've got both organisations, and I don't know, I haven't watched a huge amount. Both organisations have got great fighters. But, it's a mixed bag of results. For instance, Josh Burns, he lost 3 fights with us. We released him. He went over there. I think he won his first one. You can correct me if I'm wrong at any time. So it's not always the case of they've come and they won there. And it's a different mantra, because it's a different rule set. So it's probably like saying, we're as close to, the BKFC rule set as we are to Leftway. So it's like it's a different, different kind of thing, isn't it? It doesn't always work. Yeah. I think MMA guys, the sort of holding the head and punching really works. A lot of our guys are boxing background. You guys have not had a huge amount of boxing background fighters fight over there.
And not right. And they haven't done well.
Right. And
yeah, the speaking MMA of which, guys definitely do better in our in BKFC than
I don't know that I agree with that. I don't know.
I would
to
say
me, I don't know. I mean, we've had some boxers do really well, and some MMA guys do really well. You've got Dat Win, who's been very dominant, and he's a professional boxer, and there have been a number of others. But then Johnny Bedford's also been, in that same division, has also done really well. He comes from the MMA background, so I think it's a mixed bag. But speaking to Josh Burns, he is going to get knocked out this Friday night by Sam the Hillbilly Hammer Shoemaker. So just want to throw that out there. And he has a boxing background, and I think that's those guys with the boxing background, in my opinion, especially in your rule set, the guys with a traditional boxing background have a huge advantage, in my opinion. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. Listen, it'd be a mixed bag. There's no point putting certain fighters over there would beat certain fighters over here. I think it would just be a mixed bag. Listen, it'd be cool to find out. Like I said, we haven't had any fighters in the BKFC because I don't want to get involved in contacting. We don't have any managers. I don't deal with any managers. We deal direct with fighters. I'm not interested. I get contacted all the time. I've got this guy managers. At this stage of a sport, managers predominantly, and I know they're going to go mental at it, are just parasites.
Here we go.
They're just pulling out, I'll get sponsors for you, I'll get this for you. It just adds another layer of bullshit that it doesn't need. It doesn't need. Fighters can just negotiate what they need to with a promoter, and that's it. Be done with it. And it leads to all this sneakiness where managers can do stuff and act for promoters. And if you're, there's managers over there, for instance, that have got solely fighters in the BKFC. So if you think that they're operating with your best interest, you're fucking deluded. You're absolutely deluded. They're not going to negotiate your own contract. You don't need managers. You don't need to be paying 10% or whatever to these guys. Listen, if it's a guy in your gym and he's doing it for free as a favor because he looks out for you, trains you, does all that, that's cool. I get that. That makes sense. Fighters need to have that pressure taken away of, because it's not good enough these days just to fight hard and train hard. You've got to market yourself, like we were saying about the stuff with Paige and all this kind of the kind of bullshit. Unfortunately, the way of the world, you do have to do some of that. You know, I've got guys that they don't even do social media, so we've had to help them out and get them to get guys to do that for them. So I get that fighters need it, because let's be honest with you, they need the ultimate respect. They do stuff that most of us aren't willing to do. Most of us won't have a glove boxing fight, an MMA fight, never mind a bare knuckle combat fight. And let's be honest, the guys aren't earning life-changing money. So it's not like they're getting like huge amount of money. I get they sometimes need a responsible adult to work stuff out, do things, but they don't need some of these slimy managers promise them a load of bullshit that just doesn't exist. You know, I know guys, a couple of guys have signed to BKB that haven't had a fight for 18 months. You know, you think your manager's doing something good for you? Fucking just go tell him, listen, what's going on here? Why am I not getting fights? You know, so we don't do that. We do deal direct. So back to the main point is I deal direct with the fighters. So there's no bullshit. That's the deal. This is your end, and this is mine. That's how it is. You know, if you can like it or not. No, I'm sure some guys have got good managers. Like I said, it was a guy.
Has an excellent manager. I'm gonna tell you
He does. He does have the best management in the game.
Joe Riggs came over here. His manager was his cornerman, older guy, was a great guy, actually genuinely loved Joe. You know what I mean? Like, you know, but then we've had other guys that come over here and they just did nothing for him. Just literally just ponce money off him. You know, and it just...
Yeah. And to me, the biggest thing, the biggest role that a manager plays at this stage in the game is, you know, they may be able to help you get a foot in the door if you're a debut fighter. But past that, I mean, I think that the biggest thing that a fighter can do for themselves is win, and you know, from that point, they're gonna continue to fight if they win and they do it right, most likely. But the biggest thing that I think that a manager or a management firm can do for a fighter is help out with sponsorships, because in my opinion, like you said, they're not making life-changing money. Some of them are barely making anything. And so we've got to use that, you know, we can, you know, and if you didn't know, Matt and I actually operate a management firm, but a big piece of what we do is sponsorships.
So slimy.
So my goal is for you to, as a fighter, to make more from sponsorships that I bring to you than what you're being paid by the promotion, if that makes sense.
Yeah, listen, it works for some people. I'm not disrespecting it. Like, but for us at this stage, you know, we don't have that disparity. You know, we don't have guys on 100 times what other guys are. You know, our main event is probably 5 times more than our, you know, undercard fighter. So there's not a big thing, you know, and we spend out, you know, so I get managers call me and I'm like, listen, this is where we are. We spend 100% of our revenue on fighters' wages. That's it. So there's no wriggle room. You know, it's not like anyone's getting rich. And to be fair, I'm no fan of Dave. We've had previous business dealings, but I'm pretty sure he's spending a lot more money than they're earning. I know for sure they are, because I know a lot of the numbers they're spending and investing. Who's behind him of investing a lot of money into that. So, you know, if you look at it, they've come in, and what the pay scales of some of the guys is absolutely ridiculous. You know, it's fantastic. So it's great for some of the guys. Go grab that paper, you know, do what you got to do and earn it.
Some of them.
That disparity is the you know, with America, we don't have that disparity. Our guys all earn, there's a minimum wage, the maximum wage, and that's kind of how it is. And you know, it's within our budget. But like I said, I could look any of the guys in the eye and say, we pay 100% of our revenue, we still lose money. You know, we're still at that kind of stage. You know, we've slightly done things different. Over there, you have the app; it generates a bit of revenue every time. You know, we're on pay-per-view, which predominantly is UK based, and we're behind America in terms of paying for our product in terms of the fight industry. You know, pay-per-view is still relatively sort of 5 years new here. No one used to pay for their product, so we're a little bit behind that. But what we've done is we've done a lot of deals. You know, we've got 52 countries now where we've got deals. You know, for instance, we go out to India. It's about 500,000 people who watch it live every show. I get $400 for that. But what it does is it gets my guy. I see. It doesn't matter, because I don't want to hide an app with a few thousand people watching it. I want, you know, these are warriors. Let the people see them. Let everyone see them. The money will come down the road when more and more people, like I said, watch it on sports. Our show in America, you watch it for free. You know, you don't have to pay for it. Just watch our product for free. So we've done deals. You know,
smart marketing.
And we've got lots of little countries, and you know, we're on the biggest channel in Russia. You know, it's like $1,000. It's all small money, but it's getting that legitimacy as well for the sport, because then people can come in and go, and you know, big broadcasters can then look at it and go, actually, this is cool. There's a market for this, and people are watching it across the world, not just
right.
That's our sort of business model. But obviously, when you do that, you don't get the revenue that perhaps you would on a a pay-per-view app platform.
Not up front.
Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, obviously you have had so much experience at this. You said 60 or 70 fights already.
Yeah.
And what year did y'all start
So
this? Was it?
We started in about 2012, 2013.
That's what I was going to guess.
We went back. We was back in the day when you'd imagine bare knuckle boxing. The first show we went to was like in hay bales, and it was fucking terrible. It was like put it in a sports bar in Wyoming or something, and just like a load of.
I bet it was exciting though. Was it exciting when you were there?
Yeah, it was great. Of course it was. The guys were turning up drunk in a taxi and just getting. Obviously the first show that myself and Joe got involved in, we said, like, listen, I said, I'm not getting involved with anything that doesn't have a ring, doesn't have some sort of safety sort of issues. And we've grafted right from the beginning to where we are. So, we've took it up to, being recognized, get venues like the O2, we broke the ground in that. We was at the O2 before you had even a show in America. So we've sat in front of people going, tell me about the safety, because, when you first hear bare knuckle, you just think, what the fuck, that can't be safe. But when you start breaking down the arguments, it's like, actually it's safer, because your body will give up, superficially, before your brain gets any kind of big damage. That's why we do stuff. Again, we was able to look at everything. We do same day weigh-in, so there's no water cuts.
Love that.
Oh, I like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, water cuts, the biggest danger. The muscle is the brain is just a muscle. So when you deprive it of water, it's going to be a problem. We've all seen the fighters who sit on the ring apron after 12 3-minute rounds, getting knocked around, doing the interview seam sound, claps out the back, get a brain bleed. It's tragic, and it's just like it's accepted these days. Like it's like, oh yeah, it's okay. It's just these sort of things happen, and and everyone will put rest in peace to that fighter, and then a week later it's forgotten about, and everyone just has another show. No, it's not. That's not acceptable. People die.
Yeah, I agree.
That's one of the biggest complaints I have about most of the promotions.
Yeah, we've done same day weigh-in. We'll always do same day weigh-in. So you should fight at a weight that's comfortable for you, because if you're doing a water cut, then you're a douchebag. Why would you do a water cut for same day weigh-in? So you weigh in at 12 o'clock. The show starts at 6. You've got a 6-hour period. And the other thing with when you weigh in, so we allow a couple of kilos either side, but there's no massive weight difference. So it's like you get some fighters, they weigh in the same on the day. One of them's got right down with the science, nick the weight. On fight night, there's 20 pounds different or whatever, and you're like, what the fuck happened there? You don't get that. You can't rehydrate that much. You're not going to put that much weight on. So the weights are fair then with all the guys as well. So like I said, because we built a whole sport, we was able to look at everything that was done and go, that's how we want to do it. And we set our stall out early for that.
That's awesome. So what initially gave you the idea to get into to start this whole thing and launch this, bring this sport into the modern era, so to speak?
Yeah, well, I've always been into boxing. My brother's a good boxer. I was terrible at it. A couple of interclubs and that. And I was young. Yeah, at the time I was way too good looking to get punched. Not now. I'm just. That was. I just went like the whole raucous of it, and I just thought, I got with Joe. Joe was a good businessman as well, and we just said, I think we could do something with this. There was like an appetite. Everyone I was showing to was like, I went to a bare knuckle fight. They're like, what? Like, is that legal? What the fuck? Like, is going on? That's some crazy shit. And I'm showing them some of the footage, and they're like, yeah, wow. And I just thought, people were, people go in cycles in my view. So, boxing was 20, 30 years ago. It was just boxing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was something new. We all saw it. The guys with like one glove and karate.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, this is new. In a cage, it's like fucking cage fighting. That's mental. So, but I think like it's kind of tired, a lot of the cards that you get a fight card every week from the UFC, you get a big card every few months. You think, oh, that card's a good card. But a lot of the time, week by week, it's crap. So I think that people are always looking for something new, aren't they? The next thing. And I think bare knuckle combat as well. For me, I'm not a massive MMA fan. I admire the skill in jiu-jitsu, wrestling, that kind of stuff. But as a consumer, it's fucking boring, because most of the time unless you're, a legit guy, you don't know what really is going on. I don't really care about someone subbing out. It's just a load of shit. I love people getting sparked clean out or get head kicked in, like that's it. It just comes from that. So that's why we did it. And like I said, that's not to take away the skill level of what them guys do. What their guys do is fantastic. No. But I think as the layman sort of person on the street, they just want to see knockouts, really, or good fights. Like people getting punched, like, oh no, God,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I lost.
Yeah.
I lost pretty much all interest in MMA several years ago, and just.
I think they've gotten too good. They've gotten too good. They've all gotten too good, and to the point where it's no longer it's less of a fight and more of an athletic contest, so to speak, at this point in the game.
They can all do what you've got is they're producing lines of people, American top team, all this kind of stuff of, you can wrestle this, you can do this, you can kickbox. So they're all of the same sort of level. Whereas before it was like they were, he's a striker, he's known for his striking, he's known for his wrestling. It was a real difference.
See what happens.
Yeah. Just throw him in and just see. But one can do kind of everything kind of level, and it's kind of like it is a little bit boring. You watch some of the cards, you think you get one good fight out of it, and some of them are just not so good. But that's not.
I agree.
That's not to put shade on them guys. It's been and I'm sure it's going to be a great sport continuing. But I just think it's nice to have something new to kind of watch and latch onto.
I agree, and I personally think that the sport of bare knuckle is the most exciting thing I've seen in a while. It's always exciting because you never know what's going to happen, and it's violent, it's bloody, and it's exciting. It's fun to watch like you said, as a consumer. It's extremely interesting. I very rarely ever see a boring bare knuckle boxing match or bare knuckle fight, or it's not boring. There's lots of action, and it's you get what you want as a consumer typically.
And we've had guys that have come in that have got really good boxing pedigree, and they've kind of done it like a boxing fight, warming into it, and they've just took a jab, it split their, and it's game over, kind of thing. Haven't got that kind of luxury to have a little look at that. It's there, legit.
Yeah.
He's throwing big overhand rights, and it throws him out of the game. So we've had some really good sort of European level boxers that have come in, and you're thinking, oh, he's going to beat that guy. It just hasn't worked out like that. So it's been kind of interesting. And I must admit that the MMA fighters over here have done really well. When I first did, I was thinking, oh, the boxer's just going to box the head off, but it hasn't worked like that. The MMA fighters, because the MMA fighters are tougher than the boxers, I think. And they're used to the 4-ounce mitts, which makes a big difference. They're not bothered about the shots. We've had some boxers that are a little bit apprehensive because they're used to having the big padding on there and stuff. So when they're getting that kind of thing, whereas MMA fighters are kind of used to it with the 4-ounce, it's not a massive change for them. So they can just go and they just go put it on them, and they can produce some of the most exciting fights.
Absolutely. Well, I would love to make it to the UK one of these days to watch a live event. I think it might be a little bit challenging right now with COVID and everything, but after everything settles down, I would love to come to an event and
especially if we knew some promoter over there. Yeah,
if we knew somebody that could get us a media pass for the event, that'd be sweet.
I'll have a word with a few people. I'm not sure. Maybe. You guys are always welcome. It's just great to see, like I say, to some Americans, just kind of watch what we do, have a look at all the different sort of bare knuckle and stuff, and broaden horizons and just have a little look at what's happened, because you'll find that there's good fights and good fighters in all the organizations, and that they all deserve the respect of what they're doing.
100%. It's all about the fighters, and I love watching all the promotions so far. I enjoy all of it. They all bring something a little bit different, but at the end of the day, the fighters that do this are just on another level to me. I think they're impressive people, so I like to support them. So no matter what organization they're fighting for,
and especially like I said, as they're doing it now, and it's not groundbreaking money for them. It's not
right.
sort of life-changing money. You've just got to respect all of them. Like I say, I respect all the fighters. There's absolutely no issue with any of the fighters. They're all getting their grind on, and it's great the fact Bare Knuckle's got such a big pool now of fighters, across the fins, and fins are really starting to open up for everyone. It's exciting times. It's just exciting times.
Yeah.
We're all at the cusp and at the beginning of all this, and like I said, it'd probably be like being like in the UFC when Mark Coleman was champion and stuff, and just kind of like getting involved. It's got that feel to it, hasn't it? It's got that exciting feel.
Yeah.
Wherever you are, that that this is going to be big. This is a big broadcast. Take it. Maybe some big promoters are going to come on and take it to another level for where we're all going to take it. But it's just cool being involved at the beginning when it's just starting to grow a little bit.
It's awesome. Well, you're a huge part of it, man, and I appreciate everything that you've done and to bring this sport to the fans, because I personally right now, I'll be honest with you, it's my favorite sport. I've been a combat sports fan my whole life, and there's nothing I'd rather watch. So thank you for doing that. I really appreciate it.
No, I
It's
appreciate
been awesome.
Like I said, look, if you want to check out some fights, we've got there's Edgar Poeta versus Jimmy Sweeney. You've got Ricardo Franco. Just put these guys into some YouTube. Have a look at some of their fights. Yeah, and I'm sure you'll be like, actually, yeah, I'm looking forward to them guys fighting on Saturday. So
absolutely. So what time in America? What time can we watch the fights roughly?
Are you guys Eastern or?
I'm Eastern.
Well, right now we're both on Eastern time. Yeah.
So yeah, I think what's that? That's 5 hours behind, isn't it? So we'd be in the morning because this is an early start. We've got where we've got BN Sports. We're actually going across the Middle East, so our time slot is 5 to 9 UK time. So you're probably talking about midday starting over there, maybe 11 if you're 6 hours behind. But yeah, about that kind of difference.
I could go for some bare knuckle boxing over lunch. I'm good with that.
Yeah, 11 o'clock in the morning. Fights. Who doesn't like that? Come on.
Why not?
One step away from being in the park bench drinking on a.
Tips while I'm watching it.
There you go.
Yeah, listen, there's some cool things going on. So yeah, have a look what's going on in the UK. And like I say, if you're not under contract and you're American, you fancy coming in the UK, just hit me up. If you're under contract, don't bother. I'm not interested. I'm not trying to poach anyone, do anything. But yeah, hopefully we'll be over there soon as well.
Very good. Very good. Well, sir, thank you for coming on. We appreciate you. And anything else you want to leave us with before we go?
No, I think that's it. Like I said, I've told you where to watch it. So watch Saturday's show, watch some stuff on YouTube, make your mind up, and just enjoy all the bare knuckle combat. And listen, guys, I appreciate you having me on.
No, absolutely. Thank you for coming on. Ladies and gentlemen, Jim Freeman on Bare Knuckle's Most Wanted. Have a good night, sir.
Take care. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. All right. There's Jim Freeman, the owner and founder of BKB over in the UK. They are by all rights, they are the oldest new promotion, I guess. Is that the right way to say it?
I don't know.
they're the most experienced bare knuckle promotion in the modern era. So anyway, guys, check them out. He said where you can watch. He said BN Sports. Is that right?
I'm gonna have to look it up. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that, but go check them out. Obviously, you can watch a lot of their stuff on YouTube. They really do put on some great fights. I've very rarely ever seen a bad BKB fight. So go check them out. Yeah, and it's free.
I'd like to get Sweeney on
in America. Yeah, bring Jimmy on anytime. So. Well, hey, I am about ready to pass out because it's like 1,000,000 degrees in Miami, and
not that hot, bro. It's not that hot.
It's pretty hot. It's pretty hot today. Anyway, all right. Well, I appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you very much. We are Bare Knuckle's Most Wanted podcast, and we love you guys. We're out.
Peace.
What we do here is go back.